A bit of a rare question. For a team centered around Freeze, Aloy, yes really, would Shenhe or Yunjin be the better support of the two? The thing about Aloy is that her Cryo Infusion on normal attack is dependent on getting 4 stacks of coil, but because there's an ICD on gaining stat, it's not even an ICD, because there's a cooldown on gaining stacks of coil, very often you'll use your E, and then you just won't get the infusion. Because of that, because half the time you're playing physical, Yunjin's probably better, because she actually buffs you when you're doing physical damage. If things go right, I'm not actually sure, but really, why not both at that point? I mean, Shenhe's probably better overall, because you're also getting that cryo res shred, and you're batterying, and you don't have to worry about Yunjin insane ER requirements if you're playing her solo Geo, and you're getting cryo resonance, or if you already have cryo resonance, you're buffing your other cryo unit on top of your Aloy. Like, the more I think about it, the more, yeah, Shenhe's just going to be doing more.
Do you know who asked that Aloy question? Yeah, it was me. Of course it was me. Thank you, Sir Jeff, for answering that Aloy question. And speaking of Shenhe, I got Shenhe. Alright, it's time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to need all of your energy to try and get Shenhe. Now that one has successfully achieved C6 Lisa, one has been waiting for Shenhe's rerun. Crap. Misfortune. Well, that's never good. With the power of a full-time job, I have every intention of getting Shenhe. I have 3,000 Primo Gems, and I have 9 Fates ready to go. That is what I am playing with tonight. O Hakushin, cause of this enchantment. In reverence, I perform this rite, to be a guiding light. Your unrivaled power will be honored eternally. Give us the Shenhe, or at the very least the Tignari, that we seek. 3, 2, 1. I believe I'm on 0 pity. I am definitely on 0 pity because I got to higher and then I stopped. Shenhe. Shenhe. Or at the very least Tignari. Come on, Shenhe. Yes! 10 pity, let's go! And as soon as I got Shenhe, obviously the first and only thing I wanted to try and figure out is how I could use her with the world's strongest freeze Loy. We're here with Shenhe and Masanori. Alright, let's do this. So there's a couple of rotations that I think are worth showing. I'll show off this one first. It's kind of more of a higher general team DPS rotation. Hopefully I didn't get Ice Rush. Oh, I got Ice Rush now. Crap.
You're stuck now. Obey.
Yeah, there we go. Managed to get all of Shenhe's ammo out on Aloy's normal attack, so that's pretty good. And then I might as well just demonstrate the difference here. 18,000 as opposed to 12,000 on a charge attack, and that's more or less the kind of difference that we get. Now, of course, with Aloy, there is potentially a rotation that you can do in order to have much more of a concentrated DPS on Aloy's normal attacks. And we could potentially do something like this. We're essentially going to be skipping a couple of steps in between.
This will pack a
But we're gonna do this.
Master's bidding.
Things are about to get
Don't get Ice Rush.
quietly now. Gotcha.
One of those few times where I actually don't want to get Ice Rush. Now it's Ice Rush.
My will embodied.
I think there was like a 37,000 normal attack in there. Of course, it's pretty damn good.
Got something for you. Cryo incarnate.
Quietly now. Here comes
Probably gonna get Ice Rush soon. Oh, there's the Ice Rush.
Transfiguration.
And we can chuck it in. No, there. Yeah, there we go. Just like that. Of course, with Shenhe, there was also another character that I wanted to compare with, and that is, of course, Yunjin. So we could potentially go with something like this.
Got something for you. Unleash. Break a leg.
game's up. Fun's over.
Fallen leaves, adorn my night into the wind.
Observe.
The great thing about Yunjin as opposed to Shenhe is that she has way more ammo. That's like one of the things that I'm not a huge fan of with
So pack a punch.
Shenhe,
And step.
is that ultimately Shenhe's ammo is limited. But what Shenhe can do is also buff your ultimate, buff your grenades, which kind of in turn is not necessarily a good thing. Like, the thing about playing Freeze Loy is my main goal is to just try and do as much normal attack damage as I can. And I think to that extent, Yunjin might ultimately be a better option. But when you look at like the team DPS and like the general overall DPS of Aloy, it seems to me like Shenhe is still the better option, mainly because she can actually reduce enemy cryo resistance, and she can also provide off-field cryo application, which means it's a lot easier to do double swirling with a Yunjin, or rather with a Shenhe on the team as opposed to a Yunjin. And so even though Shenhe's ammo count is a bit of an issue pre-C6 lol, I think in the end it's still better off to be playing with Shenhe on the team as opposed to Yunjin. That, and also Shenhe is easily batteried by Aloy as opposed to Yunjin, who is a Geo character, so there is that. So I think ultimately I'm going to try and stick with Shenhe and just try to work around the ammo count issue. But that being said though, Yunjin is still a very, very viable option if you want to play Freeze Loy. She's been the choice that I've been making pre-getting Shenhe, and she was always very solid. So if you don't really want to get Shenhe because you don't really want to play other cryo characters and you just want to play Freeze Loy, then I don't know, like maybe you can just get by without getting Shenhe. You should be okay with that. But aside from that, that's with Freeze Loy though. But with Frost Loy, I think ultimately if you're not playing Freeze, you probably want to get Shenhe. Because Shenhe being the second cryo character, not only do you get cryo resonance, which can be very, very strong, but then you can also maintain that cryo application on enemies, which will help immensely with Blizzard Straya shenanigans. So that's pretty much it. Let me just think about all of this in the comments below. How are you using Shenhe with Aloy? Let me know in the comments. I do wonder, because Shenhe's ammo is burned through the use of bombs and bomblets, as well as things like her ultimate, maybe I need to start exploring running Aqua Simulacra or some other high damage percent but not necessarily tied to a normal attack weapon, because the thing about using Shenhe with Aloy is I kind of want to try and consolidate all of her ammo to Aloy's normal attacks, because her ammo and the damage that it provides is kind of similar to how Aggravate works, or how Quicken works really, where it's a separate addition of base damage per se. So that ultimately scales more with damage percent as well as crit. Crit, of course, being pretty much something that Aloy will have universally throughout her entire kit, but the big thing is that she gets a lot of damage percent bonuses, I think not just from Ice Rush, but also from Thundering Pulse. So if I can consolidate a lot of Shenhe's ammo to Aloy's normal attacks, then perhaps I will get more value out of that. But at the present moment, I have not been able to find a rotation that I feel comfortable with using, let's say, tap E to start off with and then hold E afterwards, because of the 15-second cooldown on the hold E, which really screws up my not C1 Shenhe at the very least, trying to get her skill back for the next rotation. And that's actually been a bit of a struggle right now, trying to figure out how to play Aloy and Shenhe together. Maybe I'll go for C1 Shenhe just for like quality of life shenanigans, although people have argued quite extensively that it doesn't actually make a huge difference. But, I mean, at the same time, like, theoretically C1 Yelan shouldn't make a huge difference either, and yet I find it to be pretty damn good. So, I don't know. I feel like the thought is going through the back of my mind as to whether or not I want to try and actually treat Shenhe like I treat Miko, where every rerun I get a new constellation. But mainly I'm doing that for Miko because I think Miko is hot and I have every intention of playing Miko as much as I can. Whereas with Shenhe, it's mainly to try and play Aloy as much as I can, so it's a little bit different. Hurry up, Hoyoverse, give me Aloy constellations, please. But yeah, generally speaking, it seems like a lot of Shenhe's kit is very good for Aloy, so overall, I'm pretty happy with getting Shenhe, nonetheless. That's gonna be it from me. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more Genshin Impact action, and until next time, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Delved into death.
Fallen leaves, adorn my night, one with nature.
The hunt is on. Manifest by ordinance divine.
Into the wind.
Fate is upon you. Let me scry. You're stuck now.
If things go right, I'm not actually sure, but really, why not both at that point?